Welcome to Access to Art, a monthly series produced by the Minneapolis Television Network, exploring the breadth and depth of art activities in our fine cities, from the wayward avant-garde anarchistic fringe performers to the more established and better-known galleries and institutions. We're outside of the Boiler Room in South Minneapolis near 19th and 3rd, and later on we'll stop in to see what Ann Mayers is doing for the Stevens Square community. Our first segment, though, is Flow. It's about the first ever arts crawl in North Minneapolis, sponsored by the Peace Foundation. This segment covers the opening ceremonies, and nearly 500 to possibly 1,000 people participated.
I welcome everyone to the Peace Games tonight. We have art going on here at this Cub Food stage as part of Flow, the first ever North Side Arts Crawl.
North side, the cops are acting brutal. South side, they'll take their guns and shoot ya. And all across the country, they get away with murder. They have a system where it's okay to set up. See, the victims get harassed, undercovers brag how they have control, cause they live by the flag. Sisters getting slapped and slapped by the cops, threatened and harassed if you try to stand up. A brother got pulled over just for being black, beat him up even though he was not the suspect. Now everybody be scared when the cops be rolling by. Intimidating looks be blazing through their eyes. Now they shoot, rob, kill, lie, cheat, still get paid to chase people just like them. Vacation packages given for killings of these victims. When they commit these crimes, they should be prosecuted. Pushing for these better days, pushing for these better days, pushing for these better days. Move, move, get out the way. I'm pushing for these better days, pushing for these better days, pushing for these better days. Move, move, get out the way. Like slavery, it's hate to me. How my heart beats so crazily. The pain it be, the things I see, the dealers, the killers, the dragons in peace. Good.
And so tonight we have 17 businesses and organizations, primarily along West Broadway, open with art and art-making activities, and some of them have food. And we're just having a celebration on Broadway.
arts and entertainment come together. It brings people together. And we have to do this because we're shutting down stores and we're getting rid of people who are loitering and selling drugs. We can't just fill the void with nothing. We have to fill it with something. We're going to fill it with something beautiful, something that restores community, that brings people together across all differences, and that's art. That's what art does. Come on down next year and let's show everybody the kind of unity that we have on the north side, the kind of attractions we have here, and the way the north side and the rest of the community embraces each other for the common good.
Chemically, we can do the math and the equation will equal to looking at our bodies, to seeing what's happening. Where did the West Nile virus come from? You see, my paranoia is rooted like a sequoia. It smells like mean spirit. Y'all know Kurt Cobain? Cause they're human imitators trying to kill us and then blast off. There they are, y'all. The true haters, man, they want to kill us and then blast off, selling pieces of the moon. Soon they'll be selling you air, I swear. But I ask you, where did the West Nile virus come from?
Isn't that some type of arena or sports center behind us? Why can't we get a stadium for the artists? I hate to bring this up all the time, but it wouldn't hurt. For all the mighty and impressive edifices behind me, you're going to find the best music in town, not there, but looking a little bit further. And the Cedar Cultural Center in the West Bank neighborhood has bringing some of the most exciting music from around the world here since 1989. Take a look on how that operation is organized while I stop in the boiler room to see what's going on.
The mission of the Cedar Cultural Center is to promote intercultural appreciation through and understanding through the presentation of global and local music. First of all, it was a theater, and the building goes back to 1948 and has amazing history. It had the four Marx Brothers perform here. John Philip Sousa performed one of his own operas here, and I think it was the original home of the Minnesota Opera. It was a burlesque hall, movie theater, porn house, and the Cafe Extemp moved here for a short time. And so in 1989 it became turned over to the Minnesota Star, Inc., and Cedar Cultural Center started. The first performances really kicked in 1990. Mostly national, international concerts, a lot of regional, a lot of local. We do an awful lot of CD release events for people. Tonight's show with Soccer Hutter is fantastic. Jordanian oud virtuoso is performing with a great amalgamation of local Middle Eastern musicians called Crossing Borders.
I've been a neighbor of this neighborhood for over 40 years and come and listen to all kinds of different music, but it's just a very wonderful place to come and listen to a variety of different kinds of artists. We have about 300
to 400 active volunteers every season. But I think our database of volunteers, and that means people who might only come and volunteer once or twice in a season, is over 3,000 now, I think. It's massive. We have a paid staff of 5 full-time people. We have 3 audio engineers, and we have a number of house managers. And each show is usually run by 2 house managers, up to 18 volunteers, 1 tech person. But the day-to-day behind the scenes is usually the 5 of us.
Going to the Cedar for 15 years. Been volunteering for the last 3, and this is just an incredible venue. Great variety of music, from hip-hop to all kinds of the world music, and just fantastic stuff. Just love coming here.
And as you mentioned, for community outreach, one of the things we try to do is each show, because if we're presenting like the Carpathian Folk Quartet, we want to reach the Eastern European, the Hungarian, the Armenian crowds of the Twin Cities. If we're presenting a Bulgarian show, we'll go to that. The Yatka performance next week, we're trying to reach to the Tuvan crowd, which there is actually a Tuvan crowd in White Bear Lake, as well as like a Russian crowd and even the Polish and Ukrainian crowd. So when we do these events, we try to focus and do an extra reach out to the communities. We work with American Jewish World when we're working on Jewish performers. We work with the Lebanese community today for this. This is a benefit for Lebanese Relief Fund. So we try to reach out at all different angles to get the most coverage. But one of our goals is not just to play to the communities where these artists are coming from and their culture is focusing, but to bring in new audiences to appreciate. This neighborhood's been an ever-changing neighborhood, for as long as it's been settled. One of the things we do that celebrates the history of the neighborhood is the Nordic Roots Festival. This was originally the homesteaded neighborhood of the Swedes and the Danes for the area, and it was originally called Snus Boulevard. 8 years ago we started Nordic Roots Festival, and what that is to bring traditional music from the Scandinavian Nordic countries, but presented in a very contemporary way for the most part. And the goal is to try and get a broader audience and a younger audience to engage into what has long always been kind of looked at as lots of Scandinavians in costumes playing 18-piece fiddle bands. And we've had quite a wide array over the 8 years of lots of different kinds of approaches to the traditional music of Scandinavia. We just put out our first live at the Cedar CD. We hope to put out about 3 to 4 more of these over the next couple of years, and I listened to close to 1,600 tapes, and we have 15 tracks on here. But the first CD, we wanted to focus on people who we've presented over the years who are strong influences either in their genre or across all genres. Oh, we draw constantly from people all over the state. We regularly have people coming in from the Iron Range and both Dakotas and Wisconsin. For some of the Americana and old-timey shows, we have people driving in from Kansas and southern Wisconsin, Illinois. So our website gets quite a few hits every month, and we have a mailing list now that's over 14,500. Yeah, I mean, the point is we're located in the Twin Cities, but we're not just trying to be a Twin Cities venue. We try to, bring in people from all over, and people who are just passing through take notice.
We're inside the Boiler Room with Ann Mayers, the creator and founder of not just the Boiler Room, but a very clever fundraising project this year for the Stevens Square Community Association called Art Rules. And Ann, can you tell us what the idea is in general and then specifically what people have done?
Well, generally, we give people a ruler. It's you make a 12-inch masterpiece out of this ruler, a foot-long masterpiece. I give them to people who live in the neighborhood. I encourage them to take them home. They resist at first, but I force them into taking a ruler and turning them into art. And then they bring them back, and we're going to hang them in the Boiler Room, and then we're going to sell them at an event. And the proceeds are going to go to the Stevens Square Community Association event that they have every summer called Red Hot Art in the Stevens Square Park, which is in its 5th year, and they need funds like everything else does. So we just concocted this and see what happens.
Now, willy-nilly, the average passerby, someone stopping in for a latte, is invited to participate? I mean, any average citizen off the street is encouraged to make art?
Well, they're not just encouraged, they're forced. There is no way that you're getting out of here without a ruler. So, so far, I think in, maybe a week, we've given away 125 rulers.
The last time you did this in South Minneapolis, how many people participated and how much money did you raise for a neighborhood group?
I think we were expecting about 34 rulers, and we got 500. And I think, if I remember correctly, we raised about $3,000.
That's astonishing.
It is astonishing.
From a bucket of rulers to a bucket of beers, after this year's Fringe Festival in August, John Aker and Trevor Adams did some animation to accompany footage they took of folks who had just gone to a Fringe Festival program. Let's see what they did.
It's the Fringe Festival in Minneapolis, and there's all these plays.
It doesn't have to be commercially viable, so it doesn't necessarily have to satisfy critics and be critically acclaimed.
Well, I think it's evolved from what its roots were. This is a very strange thing, actually, being in a play and sitting there as someone pretends to be someone who they're not. So I was just wondering if you could talk about that whole experience of being in a theater and what you think about it.
I enjoy going and kind of being removed from it.
It's kind of a weird experience. I mean, you're paying money to see another person stand up in front of an anonymous audience in the dark, and your expectation is to be, entertained.
Live interaction between actors and audience, and the responses that you get out of the crowd, and I just think it's a good form of entertainment.
Live entertainment, it's more compelling than anything else I think we've come up with.
You know, a bad actor, you know that they're the person playing another role.
And I like going to theater. I do it a lot.
We all want to see different stories, and that's one way that we found to do that is to act out a different person that's not us. To be a good actor, you have to be an audience member. You have to know what it's like to be on the other side of the footlights and to be, I think, a successful actor.
At one point, do you just even decide you're an actor?
I think we are always at certain times, acting, no matter who we are. Even the most authentic people, I think, sometimes are acting. Starts as hell as other people, so there's this whole piece of, being observed by others. And sometimes that can be annoying.
I probably think about being in a play now, except I don't think I could remember lines.
I act in my kitchen. I don't know what it takes to be an actor. Maybe being able to project yourself on stage. This is me, I'm doing this, this is what I really want to do. And I'm up there. Maybe that's what I like about it.
A Waite Park Community Center summer class to encourage kids to use photography to capture life in their neighborhood, which happened to be the Phillips neighborhood. And we have many images and impressions about that neighborhood that the young women did not capture with their photographs. Their experience culminated in a gallery opening we'll look at now.
Okay. Nina, can you scoot in a little?
I'm a photographer.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
I did some of these pictures that you see here.
We can represent the whole community, and so there's like good pictures, happy pictures, bad pictures, and graffiti and good graffiti and stuff like that.
These are my flowers I got because I'm a photographer, so I did a lot of work to get these.
Which one? My name's Flo, and I was a facilitator of this art project. I originally approached the White House this past winter, early spring, and asked about facilitating a youth photography project. And for me, the impetus came because I'm a documentary photographer, and so I enter a lot of different communities around the world and document the struggles and issues that are going on in those different places, and have decided that in order to continue doing that, I need to share the skills that I have with the communities that I'm trying to also document. I live in the Phillips community, so it was important to me to do this project there because it's a place that I live and I'm surrounded by the young people that worked on this project.
My name is Julie Graves. I'm the Youth Arts and Academic Coordinator at White House Community Center in the Phillips neighborhood of South Minneapolis. And the youth programs at White House really focus on empowering youth in the Phillips community and provide them with the tools and opportunities that they need to become really excited, passionate individuals working and living in their community.
Did you enjoy doing this program with us?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. I'm very happy that y'all let me work with you on this project. Did you enjoy working on this project?
Yeah, it was really fun because while we took the pictures, we looked around and, while we took the pictures, we saw some things we haven't seen because usually you don't pay so much attention to things around you. You just walk down the streets to get to where you want to get. But if you look closely, the community is very beautiful.
We usually just walk around the neighborhood taking pictures of either people or objects that seemed really interesting to us, like what we thought our community meant. Sort of like the flag that's right there. But, the flag seems so retro to me, so I just liked it. It seems so interesting.
We looked at each other's pictures after we got them developed, and we basically just brainstormed on what we wanted to take pictures of and which pictures were good and which weren't. And then we put all our pictures together and chose which ones we liked the most, and we just hung them up.
It's this one of the Virgin Mary. I took the picture in the Mercado Central. Yeah. We went and took a picture, and then a few weeks later it was broken down. It was broken by a gang because they were mad. Yeah, it was sad when they broke it.
Yeah, I've done photography last year, but we didn't get it in an art gallery. So this is my first art gallery, and it's really fun. Yeah, because then I get to help host it, and it's an honor.
People, you can welcome them to the space, tell them that you're one of the artists, ask them if they have any questions, let them know the prints are for sale, and that the money goes to more programs that y'all are going to be doing. It's important to let people know who you are because they want to know, they want to talk to you, Should we try that out?
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to say the show is awesome. Y'all did a great job, and I mean, it's good. Up until yesterday when we hung the show, the girls were very interested in the project and participated in it and put a lot of time and energy into it. But I don't think they really understood the ability of reaching out to people and using photographs to educate people until they put it up on the walls and saw what it looked like. And then tonight, with having the gallery full of people that they don't know, who some live in the neighborhood, some don't, coming in to see the work, I think was very exciting for them and helped them to understand the importance of this kind of work and the things you can do with this type of work.
We were trying to prove to the people that the Phillips neighborhood isn't so bad, because there were a lot of people think, like, people who don't live in a Phillips neighborhood, they think it's a bad neighborhood with gangs and drugs and prostitutes and all of that and bad graffiti. But with all these pictures, we try to prove that it ain't so bad. It's a good neighborhood.
I've heard other people saying that, oh, it's a bad neighborhood just because there's murders here. But, like, when I'm here, I don't hear anything about murders, just in the news. It's like the news is doing some bad impact with our community or something.
This one right here was of the family in the backyard. They're usually always outside during the summer. And they usually just sit outside and they talk and they laugh and they run around. And they just hang out in their backyard, play together, they talk, have parties, and just hang out.
I learned that there's a lot of people in our neighborhood that are not bad, but they're actually good people. And I also learned that the different cultures in our neighborhood, like they're not just Mexicans, Hispanics, or blacks. There's actually all types of people here in the neighborhood, not just of one race or one culture or that speak one language.
All y'all people who think Phillips a bad neighborhood, it's not really not. Now once you look at these pictures, no, it's pretty a good neighborhood.
Thus ends another installment of Access to Art produced by the Minneapolis Television Network. Here we are outside of the Boiler Room in Stevens Square. I encourage you to visit your local coffee shop or your local ledge for loitering or any place where you can go and encounter art, make art, talk art, and do art. When art is presented to you with a commercial intent, take it maybe, but with a grain of salt. Make your own and share it. And thanks for watching. I think the I in Boiler Room is supposed to be, is it a little mug with that? Is that line an accent line over the I? Or see, were I to do it, it would be, yeah, it'd be the steam line. We're outside of the Boiler Room in South Minneapolis near 19th and 3rd. For this episode of Access to Art, a monthly series produced by the Minneapolis Television Network. And, damn it, he said, aloud in fringe, and damn it all. Put asterisks across your screen. But damn it, I wanted to say, what's the breadth and depth of art? Look at their chair. It's a rocking chair. People are so inconsistent. You know, the diversity we celebrate is the diversity that will bring us down. If they can't agree on the damn colors of the chairs for the balcony, the neighborhood is doomed.